When you look back on it now, Coach, with the early signing period, with what happened just last week, how did this all work out for you, and how much more difficult was it?
I think it was a good year for us. Having the 2 signing periods was a little, was new. I think I kind of liked that. As far as changing legs, it just you still go out and try to recruit as hard as you can and get every bit as good of players as we got before. Just there's a couple homes you don't get into because those parents, probably more so even than the kids, are just stuck in their minds that they're going to play Division I no matter what. So there's a couple homes you don't get into, but we still pulled some really good players in this class and feel pretty good about it.
So in looking at how you laid out the priorities, Coach, how did the numbers game work with how many kids you graduated and how many initials you could bring in and how you would distribute the scholarships, maybe in-state guys getting a partial and out-of-state guys getting full, or how does that work?
Yeah, that was something that was a lot more complicated than when you just had 85 full rides, So now you can still have 85 guys on scholarship and only 60, equal 63 full scholarships. So I think with the WUI, I think that helped a lot. University of Idaho's WUI program. So we signed a lot more kids that were above 3.5 students this year than we ever have in the past, that's for sure.
Wow.
So that we could package, the athletic money with academic money. So that part of it. And it was a little bit, there's a couple of them that we found because they were that good students, but there's a couple of them that were really good players, and then it was kind of fortunate that they were really good students too. So that helped out. We have a lot of kids on our team that are good students, so we can package them athletic and academic money. So it just comes down to a lot more packaging money that way than in the past where they were just all full rides.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Coach, but in the past it's been my impression you were out chasing the best football players that you could find, and they had to have eligibility. They had to be good enough students to make progress towards graduation, like everybody else. But what you just described to me says, you've got a flagship university with a law school and a lot of things to sell there. Was it a reminder almost that, hey, we can sell academic reputation and tradition and opportunity with this academic grant and money in hand, and that may be a newer or different market for you marketing the University of Idaho?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And I think you almost split it, like you were saying earlier. You get your priorities and you kind of split it where, hey, these 5 scholarships we're going to just go find. We got to know by positions what we're trying to get, but then these other ones here, we got to go find the best students that are also still can play, that are still good enough players to make us win, but also we need to go find them that are great students also.
Yeah. Paul Petrino, our guest, Case Predator. We're live from Pace to Perfection with the Diamond Dig 8 coming up at 5:30 this afternoon.
Coach, you just talked a lot about juggling the numbers game. How much support are you getting? Because I don't imagine you're getting caught up in the money and the students and the academics and all that kind of stuff. Are they giving you enough support in terms of recruiting support for that? And also, I noticed you've signed players out of Florida and Louisiana and all over the country. So you're still going all over the country. Despite the change in conference, are you getting all the recruiting support that you feel like you need?
Yeah, I think some of the guys across the country, because I was an assistant in that part of the country for so long, a lot of that recruiting is more phone recruiting. We don't travel across the country and see those kids as much as we would a Northwest kid. But we go there maybe once or twice, and a couple of them we used. One right after we had a bye after the Troy game, so we stayed on that. We had a couple assistants stay on that side of the country and go see people. And then after our last game of the year, we beat Georgia State, and then I got in the car with Coach Bresky, and we headed right to Mississippi, and that was a really good next day because we got Aaron Boatwright right there, and I think he's going to be he's the third guy in a row we've got from East Mississippi Junior College, and Akeem Coleman was a great player for us, and DJ Henderson was a really good player for us last year, and I think Aaron will be the third one in a row that ends up being a really good player for us from that junior college. So we're always going to keep our contacts. I was taught a long time ago, friends and family are still the most important thing that help you in recruiting because those are the people you can really trust when when they recommend somebody. So we're always going to keep using that. But then, and we just got to do it in a little different ways. But we were fortunate. If we signed guys from 9 different states. So that was a good thing. And I think it's going to end up, you never know for about 2 years how good of a class it is. But I think it's going to be a good class.
Coach, when it comes to the expectations now in competing in the Big Sky, as you've looked around and assessed where you guys are going to be at, I know there was some question whether or not you'd be eligible for the playoffs right away, but I thought that was solved, and you can go to the FCS playoffs in 2018. What will be your expectations? Will they be any different than they were when you were in the Sun Belt to win the conference, not go to a bowl game now, but win the conference and go to the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that's our first goal. Our very first goal is to win the conference, / make the playoffs. You got to do. You want to win the conference for sure, and if you don't, then we better be good enough to make the playoffs. So, I think we pretty much have to go 7-1 in the conference probably to make the playoffs. So, you get that record, it probably puts you in a good position to either win the league or make the playoffs.
Unfair or fair to say that since you're coming from FBS resources into the FCS right now, into the Big Sky, that you really should be considered amongst the favorites to win that conference? I
don't know if it's unfair or fair. I just think that's what our expectations are of ourselves. So if that's what everybody else thinks, then that's probably a good thing, because that's we should have the best linebacker crew in the Big Sky for sure, because I think they would have probably been the best linebacking crew returning in the Sun Belt. We're pretty young, offensively, but I think we got a lot of good young players, so we should continue to improve and get better there. And I think our strength will be all the guys we've got returning on defense. And I like a lot of our guys on offense, and a few of those old linemen took their lumps a little bit this last year. But that's kind of what happened to the last crew. That happened to them, and then our bowl team, we had all those starting offensive linemen that had all kinds of starts. So we're looking forward to next year, and our expectations are to go to the playoffs. So that's probably what everybody should be.
At the FBS level, everybody's trying to get to a bowl game. I think the bowl situation and the bowl scenarios at the FBS level, it's starting to erode, and it's maybe not as important as it used to be in the past. Now you get to go out and sell an actual playoff, an actual tournament, and an actual potential national championship. Do you think that makes a difference for these kids that you go out and recruiting? Do you sell it that way, and do you see a difference in the way they react to a bowl game versus playing for a national championship?
Yeah, and again, I think it's different kids really get into it different ways. Some kids, and again, it might be parents even more so than the kids. There are just some parents that want to walk around town and pat themselves on the chest, telling everybody that their kid's a Division I player. And you get a feel for that in the home, and then you're just like, we're not going to get this kid because they're not going to let it happen. But I think a lot of the kids, especially once they our guys, I guess I could answer this better maybe this way. Our guys on campus right now, they're working out, they're working their tails off, and they're very excited for what you just said, to have a chance to go to the playoffs and move on in the tournament. And they were very excited about the bowls too. Now I'm a big favor of, you go to a bowl game and you experience that as a player and a coach. And I was lucky at one time as an assistant. I went to them about 9-10 years in a row, and they're a great experience. And maybe you take it a little bit for granted, but then when I took our team to the bowl game in Boise, man, they loved it. They loved everything about it. So I'm big on both. I think they're both great experiences.